Oh, happy Superman. Oh, we're a minute early. I'm so excited to talk about Superman Returns. We went live a minute early. My goodness gracious. Say hi in the chat if you would, please, because I always worry. Are we here? Are people here? Are we here? Is everything going, doing what it's supposed to be doing? But we're excited to be here. Oh, my goodness. Sal in the house from King's Portal. That's the one. That's the one you guys get through. Otherwise, I'm not going to read your comment unless you do super chat. That's what the super chat is for. What show is this? My goodness gracious. This is Krypton Academy. This is where we talk about Superman. I am your host, DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Sal. Hi, Sal.
Hey, what's up?
Up, and away. What's up, my friend, is we are talking about Superman Returns. This is, oh my goodness, I completely zoned. I didn't pull out any of the little factoids behind this one, and I'm sure there's plenty because people that watch the show know we talked about last month, we talked about Steel, but this movie came out in 2006, so there were many false starts prior to this movie hitting theaters in 2006. Bryan
Singer.
Singer.
There were going to be so many different movies. The Superman Flyby.
I jumped all the way. Flyby. You're right. Superman Lives, which was Superman Lives. Tim Burton, Nicolas Cage of all people.
Yes, the Kevin Smith script came and went. I wonder, because I remember Kevin said famously in one of his talks when he was explaining the tale, the saga of Superman Lives, that he had read a treatment for a Superman movie.
Yeah.
And I have to assume that was the ill-fated Chris Reeve Superman 5, which was about, I think, him dying as well. Like there are at least 3 different Superman movies where he dies, which also includes this movie. And he is resurrected on Kandor. Like there's like a whole other Chris Reeve movie that like Chris Reeve was like, I didn't like, you could say I was involved, but like I was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he was like, this is horrible. Would somebody's cousin write this? And he wrote his, which by the way, I don't know. Did you ever see like the live readings of these? Like I remember there being like a live reading of the Kevin Smith script with like Steve Zaragoza played Green Lantern or something like that. Like there was a whole thing. Like
that's funny. No, I don't. Oh, you know what? I might remember vaguely. I don't remember if that happened while I was at SourceFed, but I do. I know my main association with the Kevin Smith script is The Death Superman Lives, which was created by R.I.P. friend of the show John Schnepp. And that whole situation, and it's one of those things. It's the same thing when you hear about Justice League Mortal, where in the paradise that is your mind, the movie can be it's this ephemeral where you're like, actually I'd be really interested to see that, but then maybe if you did see it you'd be like, no, this sucks, this was bad.
There's so many. Like this was one of my favorite Superman movies for the longest time. And Superman Returns. And revisiting it multiple times over the years.
I
mean, I see the cracks. You know, people are talking about watching Daredevil right now, and they're like, I could see the seams, and I'm like, not like Superman Returns.
Yeah.
Like there are some things that I really like about this movie, and they are all about them. Like they're not. It's like, man, I want you to take this, and put a lot of other things in it. And then we'll have a movie.
It's one of those things that I remember thinking to myself after watching Man of Steel, that I was like, I feel like if you put and this is the wrong way to phrase it, and I can now admit to myself, but at the time I was saying, if you put Man of Steel and Superman Returns and the original Chris Reeve Superman into a blender, you might have a Superman movie. That's not the right way to do it. If you pick out the right things from each of those, there's things about each of those that if you pulled them out and you put them together, and when I say the Christopher Reeve Superman, what I'm saying is that it's almost a 50-year-old movie at this point. So that's the only thing that I would say is wrong. There's things that you do differently now. So if you pull some stuff out of that, watching this movie, I'm going to tell you, the gang up top, I don't like this movie. I don't like Superman Returns.
It's not great. I mean, there's a lot to not like. I will hopefully be able to pepper in the things that I really do. Because again, like I do like this movie more than Superman 3, Superman 4.
Not
Supergirl. Steel, I think, is better. You know, it just when I say better, I mean like I had a more
More
fun time
fun.
watching. This is a misery fest. This is a slog. I don't
Yeah,
know what happened where people are like, no, Superman is unrelatable and impenetrable, so let's make him just a sad sack.
that's the crazy thing. This was another, like, I think one of the reasons as a vowed Superman fan myself, you always have to like deal with allegations of, well, Superman's boring. I'm like, no, he's not. And then I realized, like, no, the reason people think that is because in most movies he is. And this is another example of like, it's crazy that so many directors come at the problem of like making Superman relatable, and they decide, I'm gonna make him even more just kind of like a block of a person with no personality.
Yeah, that's their like immediate jump. Is they're like, well, obviously there's no way you can solve the problem of Superman's unrelatability, so let's just go full hog on it.
Let's just make him
unpleasant.
And the truth is, we're going to revisit this conversation in Man of Steel, and it's like, what? And it's the one hope. And again, I say this like when I see, we just got new footage from CinemaCon from Superman, and I have to admit to myself that, one, I've fallen for this trap before of getting my hopes up from Superman footage, and again, that the James Gunn Superman movie exists in the same plane as the death of or Superman Lives or whatever, where at this point it can kind of be anything I want it to be. All I have is this footage to go off of. But it is, I'm hoping James Gunn is, it feels like from the stuff we got, it's like, what if Superman had a personality? I'm like, that's a great start. What a great place to start from.
Right, exactly. That would be fine by me. Although I will admit, like, I think I have not been wowed by an actor playing Superman since Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh is inspired casting. I think he nails it. And there's still moments that shine in here. It's just that when he's Superman, you could feel this kind of pullback where Singer's just like, no, less. Dude, give me less.
It's almost the same thing I get whenever I watch a Denis Villeneuve movie, where you can just feel him going with the actors of like, can you give me less? Can you, like, I want you to be more robotic. Can you do that for me? And to his credit, it is a creative choice, and it's something that he's going for. It's not like a mistake. It's just something that doesn't work for me. But it is a choice. So but you're right. I think, and this is a good part to mention this, watching this, I was like, you know what? I feel, if I'm attributing to this to you incorrectly, Sal, forgive me, but I feel like you mentioned this, and I was like, you know what? Sal's right. They should have had Brandon Routh return instead of the CG Christopher Reeve homunculi.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh is technically supposed to be Chris Reeve's Superman.
Exactly.
Bring him back in Flash. Have him hang out with Michael Keaton's Batman. Don't give him the dog shit. I don't like this costume. I think there's a lot of bad choices in this costume.
I was fine with it for the longest time, but I've seen better costumes now.
Yeah, I don't like, I'll bring it up. I don't.
Yeah, I get it. I get the approach. Brandon Routh has worn a better Superman suit than this.
Yes, he has. I don't like the tiny S. I don't like the bloody stool red, like this, like
this is evil
brown.
Inverted Superman from Superman 3. That's his palette. This is Superman 3 bad guy Superman. That's his color palette.
I almost feel bad for giving Zack Snyder so much heat about his dark Superman. It's like Bryan Singer was there first, man. Bryan Singer did it first.
Yeah, and his redundant S's. Like I'm like, he's got the S here. He doesn't need it on the belt buckle.
Yeah. But it's like, if you have Brandon Routh with Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash, give him a more modernized version of the Chris Reeve suit. So you look at him like, well, that's the Chris Reeve suit. But obviously there's technology's evolved, but like something that my brain recognizes, like, oh, the Chris Reeve suit. And you've got it. You're good to go, because I think you're right. I think he is a good choice. I think what he's given, and again, like, I'm probably going to come hard on this movie. It's not an awful movie. I do feel a little freer to come in hot on it because of the Bryan Singer of it all. Like, I don't need to defend this guy's. I don't need to defend this guy's ego.
It didn't work out. No one was excited about it at the when it came out. I vividly recall, although I did see this in an IMAX theater, like, and I went, I mean, like a full dome IMAX theater, and it was a real experience. Let me tell you, like,
and I think you and I are coming in at similar. This was the first time I got really excited about Superman footage, and then was disappointed. Followed them by Man of Steel and James Gunn. We'll see if third time's the charm on that one, but
I don't know. We'll see if James Gunn can't pull it off. I think it's fair to say Hollywood isn't ready, and I don't think it ever will be, to make Superman.
Yeah. We just don't. We did it in the 70s, and we just couldn't top it. So As I mentioned, if you guys want me to read your comment on the air, you can do that through the super chat. We already got some. Unpheasant says this movie has some top tier Supermaning, but not much else. Also, the suit is too dark. I agree.
Yes.
For the longest time, and this just confirmed it, I call this Superman who lifts progressively heavier things. That's what he does. Ooh,
Yeah.
he lifted a heavy plane, but maybe later he'll lift a heavy boat. Don't worry. Even after that, there's a big kryptonite island he'll get to lift. Ooh, it's so heavy.
It's so weird that was their approach. Also, this is the movie, I think, that fed into this notion that Superman needs to punch someone.
Yeah, I definitely, me as an audience member, as an adult, I can look back and be like, I do appreciate the instinct to not have that.
Yeah.
But it did bring me back to the place I felt leaving the movie of like, nobody, he couldn't fight. There's not anybody. The closest he gets to a fight is when he's weak and those guys beat the shit out of him. That's it.
Have you ever looked into this sequel for this?
No, was it? It's this dude. I think because I vaguely remember some of that stuff from when it came out. And some of it came up when I was pulling assets for this movie. And it's the same thing that we happened for Man of Steel 2. It's like, don't worry, everybody. The sequel will have everything you want. It's like, how about, and I'm worried we're going to do it again with the James Gunn one. It's like, just do it for this movie, especially this movie, because this movie, I understand. So like the James Gunn of all, I understand like we're starting fresh. Here's our new Lex Luthor, because I know people are, I can understand people like, why Lex Luthor? Lex Luthor, in my mind, is distinct from somebody like Joker in that Lex Luthor is part of the Superman supporting cast. I kind of think if you're doing a Superman without a Lex Luthor, you're not doing Superman right. I don't know that he needs to be the main bad guy, but in my opinion, he kind of needs to be there. So, but with this above all others, it's like, technically, in your head canon, this is Superman 5. So let's go for it. Let's do Brainiac, man.
Yeah. This movie needed Brainiac.
Yes.
And failed. The sequel was going to be that his horrible character son was going to be advanced aged, I think, by Brainiac, and he was going to kill him and complete the God analogy of I sacrificed my only begotten son for the savior of humanity. And I'm like, get away from me.
Incorrect. Why?
Just throw it in the garbage.
We'll get into the Jason of it all. Of all.
Sucks.
Yeah, man. Tea Time 480, unpopular opinion, but in terms of on-screen Superman, we've gotten post-Reeve, Routh, and Hecklin are the only worthwhile ones so far. And even then, those two are really good, but not great for me. I find Welling and Cavill thoroughly not compelling as Superman. Hopefully, Corn Sweat is great. I like Cavill. I actually like Henry Cavill a lot. I think if he was in a better Superman movie, he would have been a better Superman.
If Cavill had said anything remotely Superman at any point in any of the appearances he had as Superman, I think I would like him more. As it stands, he is a great-looking action figure.
Yeah, I hear you. There was that glimmer of hope at the end of Black Adam where his suit's a little brighter and he gets the smile and he has the spirit girl. I'm like, oh, now we're cooking with gas. And then the universe is like, no, never mind. No.
This is over our heads. He was not supposed to be here.
Exactly. We don't know how Dwayne got him in here. He wasn't supposed to be in this movie. Tea Time again. Lex was what made Smallville worthwhile. It felt like the writers took that more seriously in the show rather than the Superman stuff, unfortunately.
Well, they could get away with more Lex in the show, especially because the overseer was like, don't put Superman in the show. No Superman. No, it's well, what am I going to do?
Yeah. So here's a little bit of behind the scenes. In March 2004, Warner Brothers was commencing pre-production on Superman Flyby, which had a target theatrical release date of June 2006. McGee was signed to direct with a script by J.J. Abrams. Sorry, gang, that movie would have sucked. It would have sucked.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams, the savior of the Star Wars and Star Trek franchise, was going to write it. By the way, I've actually read not all of Flyby, but I've read a synopsis of it, and the story sucks on toast.
Yeah,
it's another. And I remember it was mythologized by people. People were like, "Oh,
yeah." Wasn't that supposed to be what if Superman was more like the Matrix? And it's like, why do you guys keep doing this?
What is this? Why does it always have to be like the more successful, not in any way related thing you saw? I appreciate, stop saying you're in a creative field if your whole tentpole plan is comparing one thing that you've seen already to another thing you've seen already.
Yes. What if it was more like that thing we already saw? Well, listen, gang, enough talking around it. Let's get into Superman Returns proper. Let's dive into it. So this, of course, was directed by Bryan Singer because he decided he wanted to ruin 2 franchises simultaneously by leaving X-Men and then going to Superman. Big double whammy there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
As of
really
this,
hurt that.
yep.
Man.
As of this recording, we got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 74% with an audience score of 60%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well earned.
Yeah. So we open with the destruction because we open the destruction of Krypton, but it's not what you think, gang. So apparently, I tried to remember. I'm like, wait, in the Christopher Reeve movie, does Krypton blow up? I'm going to assume not.
No, the set collapses. That's
great, cool. So Superman, here's our setup, gang. Here's our whole setup for this movie, and here's where I think, immediately like kind of whiff it a little bit because here's what's supposed to happen. Astronomers find Krypton, and Superman decides to go visit this. So far, this tracks. This is going to be a 5-year journey, and even though all Superman's doing, I guess we're led to believe. Maybe you can help with this, Sal, because Superman, Brandon Routh says a line later that he thought maybe there'd be somebody left. So I guess maybe we're understanding Superman's mind. He's like, maybe I can go live with my people, but he doesn't say. He just leaves. He doesn't say bye to anybody. He's not like, I'm just going on. He doesn't stop with Lois Lane and be like, Lois, they found my home planet. I'm going to go check that out for a minute. Well, bye.
So there's a number of factors about this. The first of which is it's everybody's first idea when it comes to making a Superman movie, which is we need for Superman to feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
He can't connect with anybody. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? But so he feels alone. So now he's like, oh, I'm not alone in the universe. Because that's like the whole point of the movie. This movie is about how Superman feels like he is alone in the universe. So he goes back to his home planet. It's still a graveyard. It doesn't work out. It's a $10 million cut scene, by the way. There's another sequence of Superman actually in a little spaceship flying around. He finds the S and nothing.
Yeah.
And then crash lands on Earth. And his mom's like, why did you even waste your time doing that?
Yeah.
There is a actually explanation for how this all comes about, and it's from the Superman Returns video game.
Great.
Which is that Lex Luthor created the hoax that Krypton was discovered so that Superman would leave.
Oh my God.
Which I like better, but also it's stupid, and it's in a freaking video game that eight people played.
Yeah.
And I wasn't one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that alone is like your whole premise is felonious. Superman left. Now, yes, he did, from the cultural zeitgeist, especially in cinemas, for a long time. But
and it just got me thinking about, like, because I don't hate the idea. The part I hate about this is that for something so functionally mundane.
Yeah.
He didn't say bye to anybody. Like,
no, just left. I had to go narrow. I have to leave right now.
I have to leave right now for a planet that's supposedly dead. Like, I understand. Hey, they found your homework. Go visit it. I understand space is big. It'll take a while. Although questions on how you got there in 5 years, and we bring back that nonsense Jor-El monologue where he's like, "I've been dead thousands of years." I'm like, I'm so sorry. What?
Yeah, because that would have taken. Then when you come back, like dinosaurs have come back. Like that's how far gone you've been.
What's happening? And anyway, and so I understand he wants to go back. I just don't understand the abruptness, the not communicating with it. Everything about his. I know we want to create this kind of like tragic romance with Lois Lane, but everything about it is on a spectrum from doesn't make sense to creepy and weird. Like
yes, which like this movie really wants you to just shut up and not question any of the things that are being made, and also have characters refer to them. It's just like, it's a first draft.
It made me wonder what a version of this movie would look like if the first act was a pretty faithful Reeve send up. Like, this is, hey, we are firmly in the Reeve canon universe. We have that tone, we have everything, and then something happens at the end of the first act where either because they love it and they've been wanting to do it forever, the death of Superman, you know what I mean, he fights Doomsday and he dies, or you pull from I think it's Superman Lost, the more recent. You couldn't pull from it at this time because it's a new comic, but you take the idea from the Christopher Priest comic where he fights near a black hole or something, and by the time he's done, time has passed. So for him, it was an instant. But for everybody else, the world moved on. And so it wasn't like an intentional choice, because like they make Superman an asshole in this. Like on
He's
so
like
many levels.
he's just a weirdo. Like, and I think that there's an approach here where they're like, no, he's an alien.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, but he was raised here.
By humans. Do you think this has anything, the fact them making Superman kind of weird creep in this has anything to do with Bryan Singer being a weird creep?
Everything. I
Okay.
mean, like it informs everything.
Yeah.
What started out as a ill-guided attempt to narrativize Superman's pathos and alienation, no pun intended,
Yeah.
has now been like, rolled the curtain back to, oh, this is how Bryan Singer probably interprets relationships.
Yeah. He probably is a weird creep that spies on people. And
Yeah.
he's like, this isn't weird, right?
Allegedly. He certainly looks
Allegedly. Thank you.
he
Allegedly.
certainly infuses, there's a lot of himself in this movie.
Yeah. And Tea Time 480. Thank you again, by the way. Apparently, Krypton wasn't going to blow up and fly by at one point, and it caused execs to mess with Smallville and try to stop them from showing Krypton's destruction. Then they threw it out. That's always fun how the movies mess with the TV shows that have nothing to do with them.
Hey, remember that Krypton show that was supposed to be connected with Man of Steel, and then like halfway through production of whatever, or halfway through promotion of that show, they went, "Oh, we don't want them related," and it was like, "But you made it to be related."
Yeah, or I think the one of the biggest example of that was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was very directly tied to the MCU, and then about season 2, they're like, "I guess we're not anymore."
I guess we're not.
Yeah.
Like, well, and what happened was clearly like the S.H.I.E.L.D. people were just like, "We'll just see the movie, and then we'll put references into it, and we'll just try to like hide behind other plots."
Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's so basically, but what we're trying to echo here is we get the destruction of Krypton. Cool shot, by the way. The actual, the planet, the sun finally explodes and destroys Krypton. I do now have questions. Wait, what destroyed Krypton in the Christopher Reeve movies? Doesn't matter. Anyway, because it's not the sun exploding. That's what happens here. Anyway, so sun explodes. We get our opening credits with the spaceship flying to Earth. The CG is very dated in this movie.
Yeah.
Which was surprising to me. Anyway, so we get the echoes of him crashing. Meanwhile, while Superman is returning to Earth and echoes of him originally coming to Earth, we follow up on Lex Luthor, who we find out later didn't go to prison because I guess they called Superman to testify. And because Superman didn't, the whole case fell
apart because there were no witnesses.
Yes. Sure.
To the 2 missiles he fired.
Yeah. Yeah, that he snuck
or
it,
any of the other things he did. He was already he's a multi you
can't get
infraction criminal.
Yeah, you couldn't get those nuclear arms dealers from Superman 4 to be like, yeah, he tried to blackmail us.
Just on museum trespassing alone.
Yeah. And so we find out that he gets his fortune because he basically got in good with
an old lady.
I have her as grandma in my notes. And basically wormed his way in to be the sole beneficiary of her will. In Luthor's defense, it does sound like he put in the work for it. So
he put in the work. Yeah, no, definitely.
So it's hard. Truthfully, of the things he does in this movie, it's hard to fault him for that one.
Yeah, this is the only thing that he actually like put in an honest day's work for.
Yeah, he earned it. I think he earned it. It's
so weird. This is a weird movie. Can we just say that? It's a really weird movie. Like, we got the twin Pomeranians. One eats the other. Well,
for a second, I thought the joke was the Pomeranian's 8th old woman. I'm like, the family did. Oh, it's the other Pomeranian. Okay, that makes more sense, I guess. Although, why did the family take
weird?
Them? Why didn't the family take them? So basically, we're paralleling Lex Luthor and Superman. Lex has this. Clark ends up on Smallville. Whatever. Truthfully, not. Fucking Superman doesn't get a lot to do in his own movie. It's frustrating.
No, he is a participant. Like, blink and you'll miss it. There are like 5 Superman sequences in the movie.
Yeah.
And you'll remember them because you'll be waiting for them.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into it. I didn't mean to jump ahead. But what's so funny for a movie that absolutely refuses to have an action climax, the action they do the same thing that most superhero blockbusters do, where like the back half of the movie is the climax of the movie.
Yeah,
like I was like I paused because I'm watching my son as I'm taking notes and watching this, so I had to pause for a second. I was like, wait, there's half a movie left. We're in the end game. The island is happening. What's going on?
Oh, yeah, I can't believe they had the audacity to like stretch that out. Like the island happens, and then we're like, oh no, there's more.
Yeah, I know, dude. I completely memory hold the whole hospital sequence. I'm like, oh my god, this movie fucking refuses to end. It's not.
Yeah.
let me out,
Yeah.
please.
You know what's funny? I'll never forget. Also, I think, and I don't remember if it's on camera or if it was just when I saw him at an event, but like Kevin Smith had something to say about this movie too.
It doesn't surprise me.
And we'll get to it at the end. It's the hospital sequence where he's just like, but we'll talk about it.
That's a lot of Kevin Smith's successes. He's just willing to talk about it. He's
happy to talk about it for 6.5 hours.
Yeah. So, Lex's motivations are muddy, I think, in this, because he gets a line with Kitty, who's played by Parker Posey. Anybody watching White Lotus this season will be familiar with Parker Posey's recent work, but he talks about Prometheus bringing down fire for man, and he's like, gods are petty and they don't want to share their stuff. I'm like, what's your deal, dude? What's your it was a lot cleaner in the Christopher Reeve movies where it's like, I'm the Napoleon of crime.
Yeah, I love crime. He's like Ask Ninja. I love killing. Like that's what he does. He's like, I'm a I have nominated myself as the king of crime or the Napoleon of crime. Yeah. And I'm going to earn it by committing like insane swaths of decisions. Like it's really weird, but also like, okay, yeah, that's
but at least it tracks with this one. It's like, are you, because we for a long time in the early 2000s, we tried this idea with Lex of like, well, Superman is an alien. Maybe Lex has a perspective. You know, I think famously the Brian Azzarello, Lee Bermejo, it wasn't Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, Man of Steel, and I think and truthfully, I've kind of grown to resent every piece of media that has presented villains, the villains, especially like billionaire villains, as people that with like complex motivations.
Oh yeah,
because the truth is they don't. The truth is they don't. The people ruining your life really aren't complex. It turns out,
right? It's frustrating to find out how little a morally neutral person will sell out everyone for. Like
exactly
like $11,000. Like people, you remember as a kid being like, how much would they have to pay you to kiss your friend over there? And it's like, I think $1 billion. Like, how much would it cost for you to sell out our international infrastructure? Like, or just net neutrality. Like, oh, I'm bought for $11,000. $11,000. I think I have $11,000. It would really mess up my life.
Yeah.
But if I could save net neutrality, like, okay, I'll spend $11,500.
There's a class of individual that will sell out their grandmother for pennies. Like they just
and that's Lex Luthor. Like that's okay if that's Lex Luthor, but like I appreciate it because it's like it's Kevin Spacey, and as much as he is a monster and a freak, I also appreciate that he is a damn good actor. And there's like this thing in here, and it's like blink and you'll miss it moments where he's like, no. He is the Napoleon of crime, but I don't think it's that he's like deeply xenophobic or that he like hates Superman because he's an alien or something, or that he usurped his position of like popularity in the city. It's just like, no, he challenged me, and anyone who challenges me is going to die. Like, and I'm like, that's real.
That's the real, like literally all it has to be is Superman said no to me. And so I've decided I'm going to warp my entire life around. That's realistic, dude.
That's like a correspondence dinner. Like that's it.
That's it. Well, and truthfully, like not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but it's not just the Lex Luthors of the world. I remember seeing at Fantastic Fest a few years ago, there was a movie called The Golden Glove, which I don't necessarily recommend because it is a bleak movie, but it follows a real German serial killer that's one of the most notorious German serial killers in history, and it might be one of the most notorious serial killers in history. Ooh. And is he like a master mustache twirling, one step ahead of the cops Joker? No. He just murdered homeless women, and because nobody cared about homeless women, he just got away with it. He's actually kind of a dipshit and an idiot. And if anybody had tried to stop him, they could have. They just didn't. And that's
if the cops were like they're depicted on TV, they would have caught him. But
they would have caught him before he even did the crime. But now it's like, no, we just don't care about these people. Why are they vanishing? Oh well, and it was a really bracing, like everything I've been told about villainy is a lie. The truth is it really is like apathy is the thing that makes villainy good men doing nothing is how we get in the situation we're in. But anyway, not to get into philosophy of ethics or anything. So Lex goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and for some reason this movie is obsessed with the Marlon Brando speech from Returns or from the original Christopher Reeve movie. And I don't know about you, Sal, the more we played it, Superman even says at the end, I'm like, wow, this really doesn't make any sense. Nothing
No,
he says
it's weird.
makes any sense.
What does the father becomes the son and the son becomes the father even mean?
What does it mean? I will do, and it's the lead up to that.
Yeah.
You will see my life through your eyes. That's true, you're dead. And then I will see my life through your eyes.
What?
Wait, but you're dead. What?
Yeah, it's a weird, like, it's, you know what it is? It is a kind of a monument to the worst impulses in Hollywood, where it's like, let's deify, because it's Marlon Brando.
It's
Marlon Brando.
Like, look at what he's saying. It's like that. It has gravitas. Like if you just let it wash over, it's like, yeah, the gravity of it. It's when you stop and you're like, wait, but what does this mean?
What's the content of his speech? And it's like nothing. I do appreciate, like, I remember the making of the recreating of Brando to like make him 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
It was very impressive back in the day.
Yeah.
And it passes in this, but it's also like, because it's projected on crystals. I really like the crystal effect.
Yeah.
I also hate this Fortress of Solitude. Like back then I was like, oh yeah, this Fortress of Solitude, it works for me. It's just a cold, empty, sharp place full of mist.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather it be like the Batcave, where it's full of his toys and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always so cool because I'm 100% with you, man. Because like growing up, obviously we grew up post Reeve Superman, so this has been the Fortress of Solitude. So whenever you're reading a comic that was like, but what if it was more like the Silver Age? And here's all these gadgets and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's way cooler. He's got his own little zoo in there. That's amazing.
I love the menagerie.
Cool. Yeah,
and it's one of those things. This is a movie that is like, it's like it's the exact opposite of Batman 89.
Yeah.
Like Batman 89 the Batman franchise is happening at the same time that they are inventing the definitive animated version of that character.
Yeah.
And so when you see Batman, you're like, that ain't the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with this, where it's like, and we're restarting Superman. And also, there was a better cartoon a couple of years back, and it will destroy any iconography this show has. Like anything that this show dares to represent. The Kents, Lois, Lex, the Fortress, Krypton, his parents, Metropolis, Perry. It all is crushed under the weight of how much better the animated series is and how flawlessly it depicts it.
Yeah. Yep. 1000%. So he and we're going to get in how cold and sterile the fortress is with Lex's whole property plan. It's like, can anybody live on the thing you're making?
and also, like, no one's going to let you do that. You don't have a military.
Dude, he's got a response to that. His response is, I have alien technology. None of it has proven it looks weaponizable. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it kind of is, in that it will displace whatever the hell you put it in as long as it reacts to water. Like, hey, you better not let me drop a shard of crystal in a mug of coffee at the White House, or I'll completely displace Washington, D.C. Like, what?
What's your master plan here? I also love that this forces Kevin Spacey to repeat the line, what do you know about crystals? What do you know about crystal? To align my chakras? What are we talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know anything about them.
So we learn that I have my notes here because they repeat the part of Jor-El's speech. I've been dead 1,000 years. I'm like, the timelines on this are crazy.
Yeah.
Back at the planet Routh I have my notes. He's much more believable as Clark Kent than he is as Superman.
Crushes it. He is so. That was where I was sold.
Yeah.
Immediately, where he is bumping into people and he's like, oh, hello. Like his voice for Clark. I'm such a fan of it. And I'm still. It's charming.
Yes, I agree. And he spies with his suspiciously blue eyes. He sees that Lois got a Pulitzer for writing Why the World Doesn't Need Superman. And then she has a son. This is the beginning of Superman being a creep. He's like, I've been back 5 minutes. I'm just going to rummage around Lois's desk while she's gone.
Yeah, I'm going to break her shit. Can I say also, I don't want to go back, but I'm just going to say that, like, if you showed me I will say the same thing about Prometheus. If you don't make me watch Prometheus, but you take stills of Prometheus or Superman Returns, and show younger me before the movie comes out those stills from end to end, I would be like, this must be the greatest movie I've ever that I've never seen. Like this must be amazing. The sequence of Lex like breaking into the fortress looks great, and the idea of like Lex goes to the fortress. Oh no, that's a great idea. The entire visual aesthetic of the planet, like the Daily Planet.
Yep. Agreed.
Great.
Yeah.
You got it. Nailed it. That's perfect and beautiful. The actor who plays Jimmy, whose name escapes me, but also is in everything for some reason back then.
Yeah. It's
brilliant.
Sam Huntington.
He's a great. I was like, that's a great choice.
Yeah, and they give
like
him he's got a couple lines in the movie, unlike Jimmy from the Christopher Reeve ones,
who dies.
Yeah.
Who is a girl, and then also he's cast and also dies.
Yeah. Yes, you're talking about Man of Steel. I'm talking about the Jimmy and the Christopher Reeve ones, where it's where he's here, and it's like, is he though? Sure.
Is he though? Does he do anything? I mean, at least he's there. He's physically there, and he has a camera. We get it.
Tea Time 480, trying to link Routh to the Reeve movies, I think is a terrible idea, and I prefer to look at Routh's version as separate. It's like an alternate-ish one.
It's a requel. They say that 1 and 2 happened, 3 and 4 did not.
And also it's in a floating timeline because he's only been gone 5 years, but cell phones exist and stuff like that. Fear and Loathing in general, this one, I like your name by the way, this one lost itself in the aesthetic, which is perfect. Not watching any footage since the teaser for the new soups. I love Routh and Hecklin the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
They both show up in that Crisis crossover that they did on the show. We learned that Lex is a train guy, baby. He's got a whole train set.
I think he inherited it. Isn't that part of like the old lady's house or something like that? Everything he has.
I like to think that's what he was doing. The two things Lex was up to while he was
banging the old lady and making
the shit out of her, and he was
well, because that's the only way he centered himself. Is like he's just done. He like throws a glass of cold water in his face after he's done stooping her. And then he's just like, now I'm just gonna make my trains and not think about what I just did for the last half hour. Like,
I'm just gonna think about. I'm gonna make this perfect thing just so I can't wait to destroy it with some sort of weird crystal tech. Cool
you know what else I can't wait to do? Not give Cal Penn any lines.
Insane, Sal. It's insane.
So weird.
Because here's the thing, I was like, oh, that's right, Cal Penn is in this movie. And then I remember when they announced, and I was young enough that like I think I was aware of White Castle, but I don't know that I'd seen it.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I saw that.
It was big enough news that they're like, hey, Cal Penn's in this movie. And watching it, I'm like, wait, does he not have any lines?
Doesn't say a single thing.
Why is he in the movie? And why is it?
You know why? Because he's in a deleted sequence that reveals that actually he's like a disgruntled science editor for the Daily Planet.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
I know.
I actually don't hate that. I don't hate that.
Everything good about this movie is on the floor.
Yeah. Pacing, come up with the right pacing for a movie or show is hard, Sal. Okay. So
it takes hundreds of people to make these things. And millions of dollars.
So they take the little bit of crystal, put it in, there's a little pond on this train set, and the energy that this thing displays is enough to cut out all the power in the city. Not only that, but Lois is doing a report on possibly one of the most insane things that kind of like I guess I just let wash over me when I first saw it. But now it's like, this doesn't make any fucking, this is something the Trump administration would be like, instead of doing booster rockets, this feels like an Elon idea. What if instead of booster rockets, what if we strapped a shuttle to a plane and had the shuttle take off from the plane?
Yeah.
You fucker, if we could just do that, don't you think we would do that? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a weird, and like, you don't think this movie is very good. It's actually kind of a masterclass at showing you shit that is absolutely baffling.
Yes.
But you don't think about it the first time you see it. Like, you just you're not thinking about the fact that it's like, oh no, you just strap a space shuttle to a 747, you take off, and then they take off from you, and then you're good. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why not. We see it because it gets stuck, and then it's booster rockets blast off the back end of the plane.
Yeah, which, by the way, don't make it real. Like, don't explain to me why this would never be done if you're doing it.
Yeah, like this is. You're not going to be able to because it's just a 747, man. You're not going to be able to get the thrust to get up high enough. No. Nothing about this makes sense or works or is safe.
No.
What are we doing?
And it also dovetails into one of the best looking Superman sequences on cinema.
So
like
I
on celluloid.
100% agree. I rewatching because like I'm coming in and I come in even movies that I know that like I don't love or whatever, I'm coming in hopeful. It's been a while since I've seen it. Maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe it'll be a revelation. And the movie's losing as it's going on. I'm like, nope, I'm remembering what's not working for me. And then this sequence happens, the plane sequence. I'm like, you know what? This rips though. This is actually really cool.
Yeah.
The setup for this is nonsense, but the actual plane save is really fucking cool.
It's great. It's like just take that out and put it into a Batman and Superman crossover movie with with Nolan.
Yeah.
Like, just because, by the way, like we were talking about it back then, this movie did better than Batman Begins.
Did it really?
Yeah. So it's like the reality of, oh, well, we'll just put Christian Bale and Brandon Routh in one movie together was like very real. Like it was very possible.
This movie wasn't better. It's one of those things too. Like I'm bummed that we keep doing it because we're now back on the same trap with the Reeves Batman that we were in the Nolan Batman, where we're like, we're just going to let him do it. And it's like at some point, guys, we're just going to have to commit.
Yeah.
So like Batman's a part of a connected universe, and I'm kind of, at least for the Dark Knight of it all, I'm kind of glad we didn't derail it. We could have for Dark Knight Rises. We could have said like, now Superman's here.
Dark Knight Rises with Brandon Routh Superman in it makes that movie 10 times better.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Because she shoots Bane off camera.
Yeah.
How much less earned would it have been if Superman just landed on Bane instead?
Yeah.
And then said, get your city under control, or I'm gonna have to take it, or I'm gonna have to fix it for you, and then flies away.
Tea time for you. Still holding out hope for Pattinson in DCU.
Me too, but I think we're not getting it. I think it's more likely we're gonna get Reacher as Batman than we're gonna get Pattinson.
I like that actor. Can I tell you, the Alan Richardson, I actually think would have been a really, really good Guy Gardner. I think he would have been he has the right energy for it. Nothing against Nathan Fillion.
No,
he's a little older.
He is kind of old.
He's a little old. Anyway, okay. So yeah, the plane race. You guys can look it up online. It's actually really cool.
Great.
It's
worth
really
seeing.
good. Yeah. Best sequence in the movie easily. So also just one more example of the weird choices that they make in this movie is we get the classic Superman shirt rip that happens off, like he walks out of frame as he does it. I'm like, then why bother?
I understand. Oh, also just for me, the same warning sound effect that you hear on the plane is the same warning sound effect that is played in the Blackbird in X-Men 2.
Great. So Bryan Singer's got his own little connected sound.
Yeah, he's got his own little SFX universe there. And I was just like, oh, I know that sound. That was the sound from X-Men 2. I only saw it a year or two ago. What the hell?
So now we're at the train set's destroyed, by the way. Sorry, all the train lovers out there, because of whatever. And then Clark is back at the Daily Planet. He meets his son Jason. Spoilers, it's his son. And he meets Cyclops, Richard White, nephew of Perry White, because for some reason Bryan Singer loves to cuck James Marsden. He's like, how can I cuck James Marsden in this movie?
So weird. It makes sense in X-Men.
Yes.
Wolverine is actively trying to bang his wife.
Yes.
I get it. But let's invent a character of whole cloth just so Superman can not easily bang Lois Lane.
Yeah.
James Marsden, like everything he's in, is giving it his all.
Yeah, man.
And also reminding you of things you'd rather see him in. Did you know that James Marsden really, really, really back then wanted to play Jesse Custer in a Preacher movie?
Yeah, that's wild. Let's see.
I know. I was like,
let's see.
What? He would have been fine, but also weird.
Yeah, I like that better though than nothing. I can't remember the actor's name that we got it.
I don't know. Oh, the guy from Iron Man and stuff. Yeah.
I think he's a British actor. I don't love getting a British actor for Jesse Custer specifically. That feels like it should be an American.
I agree. I think Ennis would agree with you if he cared.
Yeah, he's cashing those checks, baby. Right. We get Lois unloads on Clark about like, why didn't Superman leave without saying goodbye? Whatever. And then
that's a good line. I like her. Kate Bosworth is doing a really good job.
Yep.
And I would like to say for the record that as much as I appreciate the new Lois wearing essentially Dana Delaney's Lois Lane from the animated series costume.
Yep.
Like there's so much like exaltation of old source material. I mean, the robots from the preview that we saw for the new
Yeah.
Superman movie are just from All Star Superman,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
This movie is unconcerned with making Kate Bosworth anything other than Kate Bosworth's Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. Like, she's just acting.
Yeah.
And she's doing a good job, and she's reacting to shit in her reality.
Mm-hmm.
People gave her a really hard time. That's why I'm saying it. People were like, the worst thing about this movie is Kate Bosworth. Like,
Yeah.
what an you are missing the mark here. There are a lot of not things that don't work. Kate Bosworth is the least of among them.
Exactly. And it's so funny how often with this genre stuff where the reaction is, the worst thing about this is the woman. I'm like, is it? Or is maybe that a you thing? Or is
have
that
you
maybe
ever
that
noticed that it always is when you say those things?
Yeah. Isn't it? Maybe that's a you thing. We don't need to get bogged down in that. Anyway, I agree. I think she's doing good. Yeah, she's not the problem.
Yeah.
And I remember liking her better this time than I originally liked it. That was probably just an expectation thing at the time.
Yeah, I wanted to be sharper, but she's like she's like a 2006 Lois. And
Here's the thing, though. Yeah. I think she works better. The big problem with it is not Kate Bosworth, is that she gets saddled with the worst subplot in this movie, which is the this isn't exactly right, but like the date rape song.
Yeah,
like
no, it is.
Like that's awful. It barely works in this movie. If you try to recontextualize it within the context of the other movies, it's even worse. And then it's like this is bad. It's a bad decision.
Yeah.
God, why do we do this? Anyways, okay. So this leads to, we get a whole sequence, because again, this movie is basically, Sal put it right on the head. It's a requel. It's the same thing we'll do a few years after this with Jurassic World, where it's like, what if we did a remake of the movie, but it's also a sequel?
Yeah.
We do the beats from the Christopher Reeve Superman, which means we get a sequence of him doing random shit, saving random people. We get the other cool sequence in this movie where there's a guy with a machine gun, a turret gun, and Superman stops that, and the guy even tries to pull out a pistol and shoot him in the eye, and we get the classic like the eye stops the bullet sequence.
That was a good scene. Like, this is it's baffling and weird, and like, why would these guys do this? But like, I love the suspension of the minigun and like all that stuff, and Superman getting shot in the eye is great, and the movie is really well shot.
Yeah, and I have bad news for everybody. The movie is peaked at this point. This is where the movie is peaked. Because at this point you're like, we're cooking. I don't like the Jason stuff, but maybe we'll be able to. We're working towards something.
This is a time when I was, as a kid or whatever, back when I saw this movie for the first time, where I'm like, why does everybody want to put a kid in these movies?
Yeah, man.
Like, why does everybody need to stick a kid in the, like, why do we want to have Shrek have 5 kids? Like, what is happening?
What's happening? Dude, we're back at it. Every single Marvel hero has a kid now. Yeah, they all have kids.
That's what I always want to watch.
The other one, possibly, I did like this movie, but possibly even more egregiously was the latest James Bond, where it's like, really? We're giving him the secret kid too?
Because of what we're doing with him. I mean, it's like, they just want you to feel okay with him being sent off. But still, it's like, what are you doing?
Do they need a secret kid? Whatever. Listen, I have a son. He's the love of my life. I think kids are amazing, but it's like, that's not true of everybody. I don't know that James Bond Captain Picard famously, and they barely do anything with it. Captain Picard famously does not do well with kids.
Yeah.
And then they give him a kid, and you think the bit would be, isn't that funny? The guy that's not good with kids now has a secret kid. They don't do anything with that. It's just like, hey, here's the new Picard. Here's the new one.
Yeah. I'm glad, only because they didn't fix the problem of Generations where they kill his nephew off screen. I was like, well, at least give him a kid. Like, at least give him a son.
And by the way, that season of Picard is the best season of
Picard.
Is
easy. That season of Picard, and I've faced opposition with this. It doesn't just crush all of Picard.
Yeah.
It crushes all the movies.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It is the best TNG movie.
Yeah.
It just is.
First Contact is a guilty pleasure. I like watching First Contact. It's great. You know what? I'll take First Contact and this.
Yeah. I agree with you, especially once we really get cooking with that season. Anyway, this isn't a Picard show.
Yeah, this ain't a Star Trek show. This is a show people would watch.
So this is basically, and then he has to go save Kitty, who's in a car without brakes, Ford Mustang. This is to do 2 things. One, so that we can recreate the iconic Action Comics #1 shot, sort of. sort of. And then this is, I guess, a ploy for Lex Luthor to steal kryptonite from a museum, although they do successfully do it without setting off any alarms or anything. So I don't know why they would. I don't know why Superman would know, because I should point out, Superman doesn't find out Lois Lane's plane is crashing until he sees it on the news. So it's not like this is the most dialed in Superman we've ever seen.
Now, this Superman's just kind of like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, do I even have an apartment? I don't know. It's kind of a mess.
It's right. He still doesn't have a place.
He's getting his bearings.
Is he just living out of the planet? Unclear.
Also, I don't know why the first time I saw this, I thought Parker Posey was the Jar Jar Binks of this movie. She was unforgivably annoying to me. Now she's like hot.
Yeah. Well, it helped. A couple things. One, Parker Posey is always welcome in anything.
She's so great.
And now we just rewatched that. We're like, oh, this is just what we do in the Christopher Reeve movies. Is we have this mole. We give Lex Luthor a mole for whatever, for reasons, I guess.
It's just like, it's one of those things where Lex is like, there's a guy I knew when I used to work at a high school. There was a kid that I used to teach who was like so pretentious, and he had a girlfriend, and she was like just dumber than a sack of hammers. And it's not her fault. She was a sweet kid, really, really earnest, but just dumb.
Yeah.
And he loved how dumb she was. Like it clearly was like a kink for him.
He liked being able to talk down to her.
Yeah. And it made me hate this kid.
Yeah.
And I hope she found someone who appreciates her. But like, that's who Lex Luthor is. Lex Luthor isn't just smart.
Yeah.
He has a superiority complex, and he needs to like thumb the scale where it's like, it's not enough that I'm the smartest person in the room. I need to make sure that everyone in here is dumber than me.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just gross.
What a weirdo. Tea time 480. Pattinson is just too great not to be in the DCU. He's also not pretentious and wants Batman to be fantastical, and tried pitching Superman to Reeves. He'd be perfect peers with Superman. Listen, man, you're preaching to the choir. Sal and I are already on that page. I also, for people that are like, the Batman's too grounded. Is it?
No.
He's got the eye cameras and stuff like that. I don't think it is.
And like there was like a healthy debate when he injects himself at the end.
It's Venom. It's 100% Venom.
Right? Yeah. I thought I don't know why I didn't think Venom immediately. I thought it was like Lazarus stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then my wife goes, "It's Venom," and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah. We're setting up Bane for a movie he will never appear in. Bane is not going to show up in those movies,
which is fine.
Yeah, man, that Penguin show was real good.
Yeah,
every time I watch the Daredevil Born Again, I'm like, I like this.
That Penguin show is better.
Penguin show is way better. Was trying to do the same thing but way better.
The Penguin show is great. I don't know what I love watching Matt just F up or F someone up.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. The last couple episodes have been a little, we like peaked. It's like the middle, the bank heist episode and the first Muse episode. I'm like, this is it. We nailed it, gang. And the two after that, I'm like, okay, we lost it a little bit, but if we can get back, we can get
but
back.
Every time, like, I love when Matt grabs clearly his ex-girlfriend, and he's like, you know what? Let's go talk to her right now. And like, he's unraveling, and I'm like, I'm here.
Yeah, it works. Okay. We're getting sidetracked. Sorry. Everybody.
Yeah, Daredevil is great.
Daredevil. Yeah. So, there's a whole, again, because we're echoing Superman, the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie. Lois wants to be on the blackout because she doesn't want anything to do with Superman. So Perry's kind of, Perry's being Perry. So he puts Clark on the blackout, which nothing happens with that subplot.
No. And Frank Langella is inspired casting.
Yeah.
And
he's another, if I recall, he's another sex pest.
No, he's great. And like, I fear that, like, I feel like there was another version of this Perry White, and someone said, they're doing it in Spider-Man. You can't do that.
You can't do it. Yeah.
Like that moment where he's like, he's sending everyone to their assignments.
Yeah.
And then they all look at him and he goes, go.
Yeah.
It's so subtle, but also you could feel that he was like, go. And they were like, no, that's too J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah,
exactly. You gotta, but I actually like it with that direction. I actually
really
like it's a good energy. So Lois is stuck on the Superman beat, whether she likes it or not. Superman shows up. We get a better version. I'm going to say a better version because we don't have to like, can you read my mind?
Well, it's never going to be that bad.
Yeah. We get a better version of what is functionally that sequence.
Yeah, Yeah, they fly around. It's beautiful. I love that scene. The moment where she says, "I forgot how warm you are."
Yeah.
Oh,
that works. It makes sense because he's a solar battery. That would totally make sense.
I love it. Every scene with them I really enjoy. There's not a lot of chemistry, but I do like it
because his Superman, and it's not wouldn't the wrong choice of words, because wouldn't implies that Routh, there's something wrong with Routh's performance. I don't think that's true. I think it's on. I think his performance is good. It's just they're creating this distance, which you can circumvent if you put more time into Clark. And it's crazy that this movie, this is a pet peeve of mine. When you watch a movie that's 2.5 hours long, and it feels like they wasted their time. Like we could have, if your movie's 2.5 hours long, let's spend more time with Clark, especially if we're deciding, if the choice is that Superman's going to be kind of alien or remote, then what that means is when we need to spend more time with Clark to create that humanity.
Is there any scene where Clark is alone?
No.
You know what I mean? Like we never get to see on his face what Clark Kent is thinking. There are plenty of scenes of Superman just flying and looking at people.
Yeah.
Which I can't read, but like there's no moment where like he talks to Jimmy or Lois and he goes into a broom closet and like goes, there's nothing.
Yeah.
He's the main character.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that, Anyway, we'll see. A lot of these movies treat Superman, which I get. This is kind of true of most superhero movies, but they treat the most interesting about Clark Kent is that he's Superman, and I do think that is the success specifically of Spider-Man in general, but the Raimi Spider-Man movies in particular, is they understand that's not true. The most interesting thing about Peter Parker is not that he's Spider-Man.
Right.
And so there's time, and in fact, I would argue, just to touch back in, I think that's something that the Daredevil Born Again has done a really good job of, because by the time he finally puts on the suit, I don't know about you, saw, I was like, wait, he hasn't been in the suit since the first scene of the first episode, and I haven't cared.
I don't care because of how engaging he is.
Yeah.
I would like more Daredevil.
Yeah, especially at this point. We could
season 4.
Yeah. Well, especially this, I'm saying even this point in the season, where it's like he's back in the costume. So let's do. And it also helps that Matt can also kick equally amounts of ass out of costume. So and
it's great to watch. It's so fun to watch. He's always yelling.
He loves to yell. He's a yeller. Anyway, and now, spoiler gang, technically there's half of a movie left, but we're in the end game because Lois is going, it's the night of her Pulitzer Award, but she's deciding to look into the blackout. This leads her to Lex Luthor's boat that she just wanders onto willy-nilly, and now she's a prisoner of Lex Luthor, and he tells her his master plan, which like the first Christopher Reeve movie, is land, baby. He is going to grow land that seemingly nobody could cultivate or live on to replace the continental United States. And as we mentioned earlier, Lois is like, wait, how are they going to let you do that? And he's like, how will they stop me? I have alien technology. It's like, none of it's weapons. None of it.
It's all crystal based, where you put it in water and watch it grow. There's nothing there. This is also a sequence where we quote it all the time. I quote this movie at least once a week. I say two things. It's the one thing they're not making more of. I love using that line.
Yeah.
And we also love when he says wrong.
Yeah. It was in the trailers. They knew it. It's this in the plane sequence. If you remember 2 things from this movie, it's Superman saving 3 things. Superman saving the plane, the bullet in the eye, Lex Luthor saying wrong. Those are the 3 things.
Wrong. Yeah. Great. I also like the reveal that Lex is on the boat. Where like she just finds the wigs and she's like, oh no. And then he's brushing his teeth. Like it's a scene that Marvel thinks they do all the time, but never really get right.
Yes.
Where it's like he's doing something mundane. It's like the big reveal of the villain. And he's like, huh?
Yeah.
It's good. I really like that scene. It's
a Marvel version of it is the one that popped to mind is Wong listening to Beyonce, and it's like, this is stupid. This is a stupid joke. This is dumb.
Yes, did he not know who Beyonce was and therefore decided to start listening to it and liked it? Did he always like it? Hey, why is Wong Sorcerer Supreme?
I don't hate, especially in this universe, because he deserves it more.
No, he doesn't.
He deserves it more than
he's not better than Strange. The first movie, they're like, he's better. Here's how I'm going to frame it. So I don't love the idea of like,
Wong, you've been doing this your whole life, but this white guy just showed up and he's been here a week and now he's the guy in charge.
Wong wouldn't exist if it wasn't to serve Doctor Strange. They wouldn't have invented the character. I'm sorry. He's just not supposed to Yeah.
Anyway, so so he tells him the master plan. Plan is we're gonna shoot a big chunk of one of these crystals in there, shield it in like a lozenge of kryptonite so that it's integrated in the island.
Weird.
Turns out to not be a huge problem for Superman, but whatever. And then this is where the movie starts acknowledging what the audience already knows, that Jason is secretly Superman's son.
Ugh.
Yeah, and we get the whole time Jason's had asthma issues, all this other stuff, but he gets his big moment. He's playing the piano. There's a guy, one of the henchmen has a creepy clown tattoo. There's a reference earlier to a birthday clown massacre, and I was wondering if was
Maybe
that a Joker reference, or is this connected to this guy? Is this guy part of that? Like, what's the?
That'd be great. Wouldn't that be cool if the clown mask or the clown tattoo is no, I used to work for Joker.
Yeah, that would have been
some way to make this movie exciting.
There's a Gotham reference. They mentioned when they're mentioning cities Superman's been to, Gotham is referenced in the.
Really?
Yeah. They
I didn't hear that.
They say Gotham, and it's like, oh, Gotham.
And cool. I think there's a Wayne satellite.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
and it's the Batman Begins logo for Wayne Enterprises. I think that's there. I'd always heard it, but I never see it.
Yeah.
So
pre the Dark Knight, where Nolan was like, "No, I'm the captain now. You're not gonna get this away from me." So, and this is another part. This whole Jason thing, because the first time he uses his powers, he exhibits his powers, it's to murder a man.
Yeah, he crushes him to death with the grand piano.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Oof on that, I say. Oof.
Yeah, I don't care about this character at all, and he's really annoying, and I'm not on board.
Yeah. So I'm trying to keep these things tighter than we used to. So here's the basics, guys. And I swear to God, I can actually sum this up pretty quickly, and it is the last hour and a half of the movie. Lex Gross's island, Superman, this causes, because again, we need and this sequence actually doesn't suck, where Superman's saving everybody in Metropolis, because if the little tiny crystal in the train set fucked up the city, how much worse could it be if it's in the ocean? Much worse. So he's saving construction workers that are falling. He's using his heat vision to melt glass before it hits people.
That's great. There's all Superman stuff.
All of it. Of course, we climax with him grabbing the Daily Planet globe from crushing Perry. All of this works.
Yes.
Wow, isn't this a cool climax for a movie? Wait. We're not done yet. Then he has to go to the island. There's the island's laced with kryptonite, so he's weak, and Lex stabs him with kryptonite. All his guys beat him up and kick him off of the island.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's stabbed in the side like Jesus was. Remember?
Oh my God. I love Superman, and I grew up Christian, and I hate all this shit. I hate it, man. Stop trying to make Superman Jesus. He was created by two Jewish creators. Stop making him Jesus.
So was Jesus.
That's true, but stop it. Stop it.
So
his metaphor. The metaphor of him coming to Earth is a Moses metaphor. Stop making him Jesus.
I know.
Anyway, but he's kicked off the rock. So this is an opportunity. Superman saved Lois and Richard and whatever. Sorry, I glossed over that whole bit.
Yeah. It's a boat. He lifts the boat. It actually looks great when he holds the boat and he's like, I'm going to let go. And they fall. And I'm like, this looks good.
Every time he lifts something, it looks cool. I'm not saying it doesn't look cool. I'm just saying maybe you could do more stuff.
Maybe punch Darkseid.
I don't know.
Metallo.
Put one of these crystals in one of these guys and have him be like a crystal doomsday or something. I don't know. Give me something.
Give me anything. Yeah.
Or maybe when he's weak, he has to instead of these guys just kicking the shit out of him, maybe that's another pet peeve of mine. I hate it. I hate the idea. And some writers have not done this, but a lot of times it's like, Superman lost his powers and now he's useless. I'm like, that's stupid. That sucks. Yeah. He's still Superman. Anyway. So now it's a chance for Richard and Lois and Jason to save Clark. They pull him out of the water. They pull the shard out of his side. He flies in the sun, which supercharges him. And then he goes beneath the island to lift it up, not really caring about the fact that everything on the island crumbles. And he functionally manslaughters Lex Luthor's.
Oh my God, they crushed to death. And
yeah.
just keeping it clean, just keeping the narrative clean. I appreciate that no one says he's going into the sky to be recharged by solar ray. Show, don't tell.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Like I'm, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And again, even though it's for somebody that's ingested a lot of Superman media, him lifting the whole island looks cool. It is a little weird when you see the kryptonite literally growing right by his face, and you're like, time out. Hold on, time out.
Yeah. No, he's just forcing himself not to be affected by it. I don't know. It's
sure
terrible.
But I've been told.
Oh, also the planet was going to come back. There was going to be a whole thing where like there was going to be like it was going to be a planet that like is in our solar system. It was going to be a whole thing.
Sure.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Who cares?
He throws it into space. He throws it into space, and you're like, wow, that's a triumphant end to this movie. Hold on, because now he falls back to Earth. Oh my God. And then everybody finds him, and then they take him to the hospital, and then they try to defibrillate him, but it blows up the machine. Somehow my wife pointed out they were able to start an IV on him, but it's like, well, how did that work? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he's just so weak.
Yeah, I guess because he's got little kryptonites in his kryptonite wounds in his body. Oh my God, this movie won't end. And then Lois and Jason come up, and Lois whispers something in his ear. We don't hear it, but we know it's Jason's his son. Of course it is.
Yeah. It's the scene that Kevin Smith talked about in his thing, where he's like, I know, because the whole movie's about like being alone, and she's like, I know you feel alone, but you're not, because like you have a son. Yeah. And also, when did you rape me?
Yeah, exactly. Because for people that don't know what we're talking about, if this is supposed to be canon with Superman 1 and 2, if you recall, Superman 2, Superman and Lois consummate their relationship, and then Superman erases her memory of it. So if that is where Jason was conceived, she doesn't remember.
Yeah.
And that's super fucked up. That is super fucked up.
Yeah. I'm sure that they just go like, oh no, she just does remember that they hooked up.
Sure. Or maybe they hooked up other times. Sure, I guess. But like,
I guess
I hate it. It doesn't help that just the inclusion of Jason is just so forced, man. We don't need it.
Yeah. The Jason thing is just like, it's like, but he's the consequences of, leaving, and it's just terrible.
So anyway, they both give Superman a smooch. And then the people in the hospital come back. He's not there because why? Because he's sneaking into Lois Lane's house like a real creep, and he's talking to Jason in his sleep, and he says the things that his father said to him. You'll see your life through my eyes, and I will see my life through your eyes. The Father is the Son, and the Son is the Father. None of it makes any sense. It's fucking insane. The more you hear it, the less it makes sense. You're like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Terrible.
And then he does a little face off. Where he rubs his hand on his face, and then Lois is like, are we going to see you around? And he's like, I'm always around. And here's where I'll give the movie credit. We've given them, there's scenes that work. It looks good. It's a good looking movie. This is another one. This is a better ending than the original Christopher Reeve Superman, where he's like, hello, jail warden, you and I are on the same side.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. This is this is at least a little bit more emotionally meaningful, even if like the foundation of it is very shaky, in my opinion.
Yes. Yeah, it's really rough.
So that's Superman Returns, gang.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What a shame. It's a good-looking movie.
Agreed.
And I think despite how many like problematic actors there are in it, like everyone's like really good. Yeah. There's no weak link outside of Jason, and that's not his fault. He's a kid actor. He's never going to be good. But Tristan Jake LeBeau, whoever he is and wherever he ended up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much like it's, you know what this is, unfortunately? It has become a nothing movie.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Like it made its money back, and it made no significant contributions to the mythos, to the character, to his like fandom. It certainly taught Hollywood that like we need to go in another direction for some reason, despite the fact the movie did fine.
Well, and what's funny is, and that's a good example of Hollywood not learning the right lessons, because instead of being more surgical and being like, okay, what didn't work?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess we have to throw all of it out and go in
Right.
a complete
Whoa!
180.
Like no, like the world of at least the Daily Planet looks great. The
Yeah.
decisions for the staff look great. The acting decisions of the time were good. The approach of like homaging the past but keeping it present is
Yep.
a good idea.
Yep.
Superman's suit is technically accurate.
Yes. I'll be interested because I have watched Man of Steel more than this movie.
Mm.
I am as shocked as anybody to admit that I mean, we'll see on this rewatch. I think I prefer Man of Steel to this movie.
I don't know which one. I mean, like I've definitely seen Man of Steel less than this,
Yeah.
so it will be newer and a fresher watch for me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also fundamentally disagree with more decisions made in the other one.
In Man of Steel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be because these are the 2 modern ones. It's, because this is kind of like we did Steel, but this is kind of our first time out from under the Salkind era Superman stuff. So now we're getting different takes, different interpretations. What can Superman be? What can he be? Which is kind of the goal of the show as we lead to James Gunn's Superman to see what other people have done and kind of see where that Superman is going to land. But those are our thoughts on Superman Returns. I want to thank everybody that joined us live. We do this every month on, I think it's like the second Wednesday of the month. Next time will be Man of Steel. We love it when you join us live. We love it when you throw out in the super chat. I want to thank everybody in our super chat today. If you want to see other shows like this, you can go to patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. While Sal and I, we're in Spider-Versity. We're doing Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And after that, we're going to do Venom and Craven. Everybody get excited for that. Specifically, Sal. Get excited, Sal.
No.
Yeah, get excited. We're gonna do those. So check those out over on Patreon. And I think, Sal, where can the kids find what you're working on?
Oh, swing by youtube.com/comicpop or Comic Pop Returns, and we will have a grand old time.
And I'll just say, be kind to each other out there. Take care of each other. Try and connect with your community. Try and be more like Superman, less like Lex Luthor. Let's have that be a goal that we all strive for in our lives. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.